Everybody, and welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. We're talking about major events in the crypto space, but we're focused on trading to make sure that you're making money. My name is Believes, and I'm your host. So please do me the favor, hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified, and right after the jump, we'll be back with our top stories.
It's your boy Believes. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, hit that like button on the way in. Let's talk about what's going on in this market because we've got important news, we got important information, and we're going to start off with number one. We're going to give you the top 5 news, and then we're going to move on. First, Tether's massive gold accumulation continues. In the fourth quarter of 2025, Tether reportedly added 27 metric tons of gold to its reserves, which really underscores why Tether is just doing a great job and why gold has been in such high demand. Like major players like this continue to accumulate massive amounts of gold. It's a great sign. And eventually they're going to dump this gold. They're going to dump it back into the market in order to pick up Bitcoin in order to stabilize because it is crypto at the end of the day. So I think this move by Tether is a great move, but it will also be important to things to come, and that would include selling off some of that gold to get back into Bitcoin to continue to stabilize their price. Also, not to be left out, Bitcoin price is volatile around 89,000, went up to 89,400 just a little while ago, but the market is now looking at the upcoming Fed rate decisions, trying to figure out a path forward. Now, if you watch my 5 o'clock, then you'll know my opinion here. Big tech earnings are coming in. United Healthcare fell 16% in 24 hours. Crazy dump right there. Bears still maintain control because it's really thin trading at this point. Now, why is that happening? People are a little bit scared. They don't know what the next decision is going to be. Now, here's where I think it's going to get interesting. I do not think the Fed's going to cut rates. I think the Fed is going to leave the rates as they currently are. When they do that, the natural move for the market would be to scale out of risk. And because that is the obvious move, and because that would mean that there is an obvious dump coming, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that it's too obvious at this point. And I think that during the Fed meeting, we might see a dip. Listen, I'll put it this way. I think that there's going to be a rip that happens over the next couple of days because there's so much money in gold and silver right now. Gold market cap is somewhere in the neighborhood of $35 trillion, and silver is somewhere in the neighborhood of $7 to $8 trillion, depending on the time of day. There's a lot of money sitting right now in these precious metals, and that money will rotate. It will not stay there forever. So I do feel like we've got something brewing here for crypto going forward, and I think we're going to have a big move. So I'm watching right now to see how this plays out with the Fed starting tomorrow. Also, back to Tether, they've launched USAT. That's USA Tether. And that is a new, fully compliant under the Genius Act, will fit in with the Clarity Act as well, and it positions it as a direct competitor to USDC. So this is going to get real interesting right now. The stablecoin wars have begun. So I'm not sure whether or not we're going to have some of this. I'm not sure whether Coinbase is going to be part of it. I don't know exactly how they're going to do this with USAT, but when we start to see it, we'll start to stable with it. Next up, U.S. regulatory developments. The Clarity Act and the Senate have delayed because of the winter storm. Now, They're now looking at January 29 as their date to make a move and continue the markup process. So Coinbase is allegedly not behind it. They've come out and said that they are not in support of it the way that it currently is written. Democrats are signaling an openness to restarting the talks. They've basically sent in a markup that killed DeFi, which was a non-starter for most people. The White House, however, wants it done. So the White House is going to feel the pressure, and what they're going to do is perhaps try to kill DeFi, which is going to be silly. So I don't think that that's going to happen. Bitwise has warned that that the industry's only got around 3 years to become indispensable without federal clarity, because if they don't do it within this period of time, then they're going to move. The miners are going to move to other places that are more favorable. If we can't get legislation passed, people will go to other countries. Other places will become crypto hubs, and we are going to get left behind from a technical standpoint. Our AI, our crypto, everything in the United States right now is going to be at risk if we cannot get something done. Also, and finally, institution moves and security concerns. BlackRock has outlined a new iShares Bitcoin Premium Income ETF, and it uses options for yield on Bitcoin exposure. Then there's the security threat that's looming right now. The U.S. government's Bitcoin reserve of $28 billion faces risk after a weekend theft exposed some flaws in its holding pattern. And North Korea, by the way, in 2025 has hacked a total of over $2 billion worth of crypto, and it's been traced back to the North Koreans. Unbelievable amount right now that North Korea has been stealing from the rest of the world. Also, Kraken has rolled out DeFi earn vaults in the US, European Union, and Canada, and Polymarket has inked a Major League Soccer deal. I do not like Polymarket. I don't have respect for these prediction markets. They're just plain out gambling. By the way, I'm not. I mean, BC Game. I mean, Stake, all of these guys to me. Look, if you want to gamble, gamble. But the Polymarket prediction market, the Kalshi prediction market, for me, I don't like, because they've basically stolen away all the gamblers that we had in crypto. And look, the gamblers probably should go away anyway. I'm not saying that I want them to be here, but I liked things the way that they were. And it was a lot easier for the markets to pump because you had institutional making their buys, pumping the market a little bit. You had retail out here trying to make a buck, and retail right now is just kind of in decline at this point. And there's no real turnaround that we've seen. There's no real activity. But overall, the market just seems like it's in consolidation mode. I gave you a couple of predictions yesterday. I'm going to go over them right now, and you're going to be like, oh, damn, Bleaves, if I would have done exactly what you said when you said it. I'm not a financial advisor, by the way, so you shouldn't do that based on me. You should do that based on you feeling that what I'm saying is accurate. Look, if you missed out, you missed out, okay? That's all I'm saying. Now, let's get on with the show. Top Bitcoin ETF today, or yesterday, it had inflows of 6.8 million on a very, very low day, but that was positive inflow after, remember, we had a lot of outflow of 1.7 billion in the last week. The Ethereum ETF had 41,000 new Bitcoin, 117 million in Ethereum came in. On Solana, there was 2.5 million that came in. On XRP, there was 7.7 million. So all positive inflows. That's a sign that this market is not yet done. We are not in that bear market that people continue to try to convince you of. We're just not there. Fear and Greed Index is back up to 29. Again, I'm on a Bitcoin long. The Bitcoin long is playing out very well right now. By the way, thank you guys. KCEX has been you guys have been doing a great job on KCEX. I've been seeing a lot of wins coming over the last little while. I'm up 4% on the Bitcoin long, which is not a lot, only up $80. We're doing $2,000, so the total on it is $10,000. So whatever, we're okay. It's not great, but not bad. Liquidation points, again, lot of longs going out right now, which makes me nervous for a dip. But I think when you zoom out a little bit and get to that weekly total over here, you start to see that there's still a lot of money here on the upside. And again, 93,000 is that magical spot. Now let's go look and see exactly what happened and what we did. Well, for the day on the crypto market total, let's get to daily. Let's get to... So we had a nice green candle for the day. The little red we have right now is because the market just rolled over 11 minutes ago. But we had a nice little day over here. It started off a little bit lean. We had a nice little rally, about $15 billion. Then all of a sudden it starts dumping. At one point we're down about $20 billion on the day. U.S. market. Dow Jones was down over 500 points at one point. Pulled back a little bit, down 408. And as a matter of fact, I talk to you guys all the time about manipulation and how the markets are being manipulated. And I think that it's safe to say that when you look at the manipulation that happened, it was a little bit awkward. Okay, it was a little bit weird. As a matter of fact, let me 1 second here because it looks like I did not save. I did not save the live chat here, so I got to come over here and your video. I don't know why.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it.
Ooh, imagine being able to build an app just by thinking about it. I hate these commercials. And frozen. You know? I just don't know. I just don't know. All right, Penguin's in the house. What's going on, man? All right, so pop out. Save. There we go. All right, there we go. All right. I don't know what was going... I thought I saved everything, and I just clearly didn't. So, whatever. Anyway, so we had this... We had a really good move. We ended up up you know, about $20 billion for the day, following another day of about $70 billion. So again, remember, we took this over the weekend. This was Saturday. This was Sunday. We had a big dump on Sunday. I told you guys, I thought that just meant a structurally weak market. Bears were taking over for a day. And the reason they were taking over was because we were probably going to have some green days coming forward, right? Well, guess what? Now we've had green days going forward, and we are now up overall compared to where we were on Saturday. Not Friday, not yet, but I think the reversal is in, and I think the markets are starting to pump. Now, what did I say was going to happen? In my estimation, Bitcoin was going to bounce from this area, and we were going to start seeing some movement back up here into this 97 to 100,000 range. And guess what? That is exactly what's happening right now. There's still some time for you to get aboard if you have not yet taken a position. If you take a long position, remember there's risk involved. KCEX is my preferred place to go right now in order to do that. But I think it's safe to say that with the Fed, with everything that's going on, it feels like they're not going to cut rates. And if they're not going to cut rates, that's not a great sign for the market. But here's the problem. Problem is we're getting so close to Jerome Powell being out that we're going to get Rich Reader, I think is the guy's name. He seems to be the favorite right now to become, he's a person from BlackRock. Rich Reader seems to be somebody who wants to cut rates. And I mean aggressively cut rates. We're talking 50 to 75 bips for a few months in a row is what he's looking to do. Like, this guy is looking to do some serious cutting of rates to get it in line with what President Trump wants. And if that's what Trump wants, then, you know, look, the Fed is supposed to act independently, but it's also supposed to protect the American people. And it's supposed to protect all of the American people, not just the rich bankers. It's supposed to protect everybody, right? Or at least that's the spirit of it. Right now, they're not protecting us, okay? I don't think that they're protecting us at all, and I have a problem with that. So maybe this rich reader guy is going to come in and he's just going to make it awesome, right? However, we don't know what's going to happen. It just looks that way so far. Still have to contend with Jerome Powell and his slow and cautious approach rather than YOLO. Let's just see what happens. Rip the Band-Aid off. So anyway, long story short, I think that we're still in play right now for some tremendous upside momentum. I feel like after we get the announcement tomorrow of no rate cut, we'll probably see a little bit of downward momentum. Matter of fact, let me kind of tell you what I think it's going to look like is, I think it's going to look like this. I think we're going to get the decision. We're going to get a little lift here. Then we're going to get the decision. Then we're going to get a dip. And then all of a sudden the next day, we're just going to get this big we're going to get one of these big candles right here. That's what I feel like is getting ready to happen. That we're getting ready to have one of those big candles to rally. Again, it'll take us to 93,000 for sure, because that's right here. And that's where the CME futures gap is. If you check it out over here, right in this range, right there, that little green spot, that tiny green spot right there. If I go into the 1 hour time frame, look at that right there. That's the CME futures gap. That's the only one of note that's really close that we could be or should be targeting right now. If you got to go down quite a ways to find another gap. So that CME futures gap 93,000 I think gets filled. That means that I think Bitcoin going to go up about 4,000 points over the next 24 to 48 hours. Also, just to be fair here, when you're looking at it on the RSI, guess what? RSI is starting to move, but it's still in buy territory. It's still in a good place. And the MACD also starting to get pink right here, going to flip over to green. This looks like a momentum indicator, and that momentum indicator looks like it's coming up again, and we should see some movement to the positive coming very soon. So I'm going to be watching for that to happen. Bitcoin in a good place, at least in my opinion, right now. Look at what happened with Ethereum. I told you guys, if you get into Ethereum right now, you're probably going to feel pretty good about your position. I told you this last night, and guess what happened? Ethereum ripped again today, had another nice little rally. Now the question is, will it continue? Will it maintain? If we look at it from one context right here, I still think this green line, this go line at 3,500 is going to be important. But if you watch it from this right here and you kind of start to try to find all the little spots that you can and get touch as many contact points as possible, you kind of establish a trend line. Trend line's going down, so you could see a move from here up to around 3,300. Could get rejected at 3,300. That's always possible, but a move to 3,300 would also be a very good move for you right now and would make you some profit. That's about a 10% move that could happen over the course of 2 or 3 days if we get a nice little rally going. So watching for that to happen. Also, what do we say about Solana? Same thing. It's all running the same kind of pattern. So guess what happened to Solana? Same thing. Broke out again, had a nice little day. Didn't have as good a day as Ethereum, but it had a nice day overall. So XRP was starting to have a little bit of a rally and then got stopped. Just kind of, you notice here, you got that little hammer. It looked like we were getting a dip in XRP while the rest of the market was starting to move. Like we weren't getting XRP moving hard. Ultimately, it did. Ultimately, we've recovered all the way back and we're in the positive for today. We just saw it flip to green. So that's a good sign, a continuation of the rally. Where does the rally go? In my estimation, 220 is going to be the next stopping spot for this rally. I think we're going to do this all over again. So again, this is just a good, guys, if you got in, if you played it, if you did it, and you're making money right now, congratulations. Tau is kind of sideways right now. Not really feeling anything positive on Tau. I got some more content that's coming out for that, so you're going to see some more Tau videos. But ultimately, I don't think I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling that excitement that I normally feel with Tau. AI has been taking kind of a beating in regular markets and in these markets. So I think that's going to continue. BNB, we said the same thing about BNB. I said there was going to be a significant rally. We're going to get a big pump off of this, and guess what? Take that out. Boom, big pump off of that. It's happening exactly as we're predicting. So if you're, if you're taking long positions based on these predictions, then guess what? You're winning. Let's remove we don't want to move that one. This and this one. All right. So again, I think that it's going to play out right here. Next pump going to take us up to about $1,200. So we could see just an absolute breakout from Binance very, very shortly. And by the way, because CZ Binance is out here talking right now about, and he's, you know, he's telling everybody who will listen that he thinks that we're about to hit a super cycle. And the fact that we're about to hit a super cycle for him means that because he's right about it, if he's right about it, in fact, that means, in my opinion, that a lot of people, especially people who support CZ, and there's a lot of people that support CZ, they're going to be looking at this and they're going to see an opportunity right here, and they're going to get into BNB. Hydrate. Avalanche. Avalanche not moving at all, so we're not going to really cover too much of that. Trump hasn't moved at all. We're not going to cover too much of that. Near protocol, same thing as everything else. Ondo, no lift over there. Pendle, not feeling any lift. SWE, we're not feeling any lift. We're not getting that. Dev, still continuing to dip. Definity, again, same thing, still continuing to dip a little bit. Night had a nice little recovery. We saw that recovery right there. Again, off of the 786. Remember, this thing had a nice little run, and then it came all the way up. Then it came back down to the 786. I guess we should say, if we look at it from this context, it came here, then it came back down, nice big dip. Then it came back up even higher. Then it came back down to the 4.5. Then it came back up to the 236, and then it broke back down. Looks like Night is ready for another leg up. Looks like it's, but also because it's a new project and because you see this all the time, what I would say is it's looking more like this is going to happen. Now, what we're looking for right now is we're looking for this to play out. We're getting that nice rolling right there. We're seeing a nice movement. We're seeing the RSI still low. We're seeing the MACD look like money flow is coming in to the positive. But we're going to have to see some data first. We're going to have to see an actual move right there. But remember, Midnight is going to be a privacy-centered blockchain run by Charles Hoskinson, and I think that's going to be a big deal. It's got $1 billion market cap. It was at $2 billion market cap not that long ago, and Cardano's at $14 billion market cap. Cardano, by the way, had 2 good recovery days, but again, it didn't dump really hard the other day, so it's not pumping really hard to recover. We're just back to where we were on Friday. Aerodrome Finance did have a little bit of a rip. Same thing as everything else. Like there's just the top, really just the top assets and some select special assets that are having the big run. So Aero still kind of sitting there ranging. API, we said this yesterday, still kind of ranging. I'm looking for a breakout, but I haven't seen anything that would tell me that it's going to happen yet. I told you that I think Aster is going to come back down. Let me show you what happened with Aster today. Let's remove that. Came back up into this spot right here, and now is the perfect time for a rejection and a move to the downside even more. Not because again, this is not about CZ on this one. CZ is BNB for me. Aster is who they want to make him. Okay. So I think that Aster probably on its way down a little bit more. Conflux, same thing, just not seeing any real movement over there. Lunk, again, not seeing any real movement over there. USTC, we're not talking about. Fiat, when Fiat gets down to a penny again, I'm going to go all in on Fiat. But until I want to see it get there first. Also, Tom Anderson, creator of Fiat and creator of Dev, will be on the channel next week, and we'll be talking about a lot of different things that are going on in Fiat and Dev. They put out that tech demo the other day. We looked at that, and some people were excited about it. Some people weren't. Link had a recovery, but look at that recovery. Ran right into just kind of like Bitcoin, except when we zoom out here, it's rejecting off of our zone here. It's rejecting off of our floor, and it's an inclining floor. So, this has been support, and now it's resistance, and that is not a great sign. That usually means downward momentum. Could just be a consequence of the market currently being where it is. We could see it rally back up above, but I don't know for sure if we're going to see that. Pepe, not seeing anything giving me any exciting move here for Pepe. I'm not feeling Pepe other than, we got that big move right there, but now it's broken back down. And if you look at it from a fib standpoint, boom, It went past the 618. So if you want to accumulate Pepe, right now is probably the best of times to accumulate Pepe because it's in the spot right now where you would suspect buying. I was asked at the gym today what I thought about VET, which was a weird conversation. Guy walks up to me. He's like, hey, man, I've seen your crypto channel. What do you think of VET? And I'm like, other than UFC and Amazon or Walmart, like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing for everybody. When it's time for the market to rally, there's going to be a significant rally. Hydrate. But until then, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see any reason. There's no reason for it to pump. But also, let's be very clear. There is a real possibility of a breakout here because it is down at the bottom of its range. I mean, when you look at it from where it is, I look at that right there. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than this. I mean, you got right there, right there, right there. You know, you're just kind of ranging right here at this bottom, and this is your bounce. So you're at the bottom right now. Significant rally. I mean, you know, there's a possibility of a big rally here. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. World Liberty Financial. Told you guys that it was about to dump again. Guess what? It didn't dump all the way. Here's what I told you. I told you it was going to come down. It was going to break off of here, and it was going to come down here, and that if it came down to 1 or 10 cents, I'm going to be a buyer. Well, it's kind of stuck at 16 cents right now. The Trumps just continue. Like Don Jr. and Eric will not shut up about World Liberty. They are doing everything they can to try to prevent the price from coming down. They're pointing out their Bitcoin treasury. They're pointing out all the different things that they're doing constantly, but it's not working on the open market yet. So they're going to need to figure out some kind of real path forward. I mean, a real path forward for cryptocurrency instead of just kind of leaving us, languishing where we are right now. What about OMI? Dev down again, good entry. I would wait to 10 cents. I would. Actually, it is a good time to open up a 10x long on Bitcoin and XRP right now. There's some absolute risk involved. If you're, there's some absolute risk involved. But I mean, there's certainly worse things that you could do. You could get liquidated at any point. I mean, that's just the nature of this business at this point. All of these guys are out here trying to steal from you and rob you and manipulate you to begin with. I mean, there's nothing new. But at least we recognize the signals. You could get wrecked, but yeah, it really is kind of a good time to grab yourself a long position and just hold on tight and see what happens. But going down the list here, on some of these others, silver continuing. Look at silver, had a nice rally. Then it had that massive spike on the dump. Tom Crown said it's over. He's been wrong. He's been wrong about this one. And Tom's not wrong very much, but on this one, this rally is just nonsensical and continuing. Dash over the last couple days, Dash broke way up, right? It came back down. Now it's ready for, look at that reversal sort of area. Now, if you didn't get in down here near the bottom at around $56, then it's, I don't think this is going to be the one for you. Like it's a little too late to get in there. It bounced off of the 4.5 already, and then it rejected a little bit back down to 0.5. So I don't know that, this is certainly not an entry position, but Dash could be something that absolutely rallies and goes just Captain Insano at some point soon. Aptos up 3% on the in 30 minutes. It's up 3%, so that's a pretty big gain. Avantis had a little spike the other day, didn't maintain that spike, but Avantis again, another one. I believe Avantis is one of those AI protocols that Solana Foundation is partnered with. So that could be a good one ultimately. And then let's take a quick look over here at some of our degen plays. We got Dev down another 5%. And look, I mean, they're, what are you gonna say? Tom is in the chat talking constantly about what's going on, telling everybody what's happening over here. But it's just not enough. If you look at right now, buyers, there were 41 buyers. 26 sellers, which means that somebody's just selling out. Buy volume is 25,000, sell volume is 30,000. So, until they turn it around, I don't know what to say. Dfinity, however, is ripping right now again. Now it's got a long way to go to really, sort of break out, but we're seeing a little bit of a rally happening right here over the last few minutes with Dfinity. 22 minutes ago, going into 6 p.m., we had a big buy here. We had a couple of smaller buys over here, just kind of, just trending, just kind of trending a little bit. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 we start to get a little bit of pressure on price going into the positive. That could be the early signs of people discovering what's going on with Dfinity. Again, Dfinity is partnered with Bloomsbury, or Dfinity is owned by Bloomsbury Money. Bloomsbury Money is going to be the transaction provider for the Midnight Network. So, guys, when Dfinity blows up, and it will blow up at some point, this is a God candle territory, okay? If you just consider, and look, I'm not telling you what to do, but I am saying this. This thing has a $2.6 million market cap right now. If you just take who their partner is, and you look at the partners' two projects, $1 billion market cap and a $14 billion market cap. That's $15 billion in capital sitting there waiting to be exploited, okay? Dfinity, I think, is going to have a massive, massive run. So, hopefully that'll break out. We'll see something good happen. Slay House still sitting around 33,000 market cap. Not seeing anything happening right there. Volt at 3.4 million. I think we're done with Volt. Like, there's just no reason to even bother looking anymore. It has a lower market cap than Meme Linked at this point. So, and by the way, I'm not saying that Volt did anything wrong. It's just too old. I'm not even saying there's anything bad or anything wrong with Volt. Just nobody's buying it. So Blocky is up 10% to 26,000 market cap. Look, guys, I'm going to tell you one thing, and it's going to be a secret here, but I'm going to tell you. At some point, Blocky is going to explode in price, okay? So if you have a few bucks on the side, Blocky is one that I would buy some of. And I would buy some of it right now just to make sure that you're holding on to it. Because guys, I got a feeling that Roger has a plan and a strategy for Blocky, and that he's just waiting for the right time. And part of that is there's some things that I know about Roger that I can't share with you because it's not my place. But Roger, I think, is going to be in a position where he's going to be motivated and incentivized to pump the shit out of Blocky at some point pretty soon. So, I think you'll probably see something big happen with Blocky. Don't know for sure, but I would guess that is the case. Now, 24-hour DEX volume, here we are. It's 8 billion, a little bit over 8 billion for the top four. Again, we want it to be in the 10 to 15 to 20 billion range. So that's just an example of retail having exited the markets and just nothing really going on over there. So that's where we are. All right. So I think that's going to be it. I'm trying to keep these as quick as I possibly can. Just give you guys as much information as quickly as we can. And then, if you guys want to talk about a specific project, and that's done with super chats. So short of that, it's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Look for that